In a former life, when I was performing as a pianist, one of the challenges, which was usually also a pleasure, was the constant job of learning new repertoire. But the counterbalance to that was coming back to old repertoire and finding something new. In a way, that's a definition of great art, whether it's music or literature or visual art. There's always something new to find. And it turns out that's also true of the Bible, which is great literature, although it's also much more than that. A little while ago, I was reading Psalm 139. I'd read it plenty of times and thought I knew it quite well, but it turned out less well than I thought. I'd never quite noticed one particular phrase. The writer is doing a kind of thought experiment where he's trying to imagine the most unlikely place that God might or might not be found. One of the ideas he tries is, if I take the wings of the morning and settle at the farthest limits of the sea. For him, that was the stuff of nightmares. The sea in Jewish thought was dangerous and unpredictable, and the land beyond it was as far as he could imagine from Jerusalem, which was the center of his identity and where the presence of God in the temple was most vivid and powerful. God couldn't possibly be at the farthest limits of the sea, could he? Well, the phrase that jumped out was what comes immediately after. Even there, your hand shall lead me and your right hand shall hold me fast. So he'd tried to think of somewhere that God couldn't be found and drew a blank. And there's more. The God he finds in that almost impossible place helps him to move, your hand shall lead me, and to stay still, your right hand shall hold me fast. Each of those is appropriate at different times in our lives. Do you have an even there? For the record, and in case it's any encouragement, I have more than one. For each of us, it will be different. It might be an event in the past, which may or may not be associated with an actual place, and which we can't unremember. It might be some present circumstance, and it's not difficult at the moment to think what that might be. Or it might be some real or imagined event in the future that seems to block out the light. Even there. And it's not so much that we find there the God we already knew, but it's in the even there that we actually discover what he's like. And as a side thought, in a list of unlikely places to find God, we could start with a cowshed.